People see me as a mauler, and then they also love my feet. So we ran a lot of power behind me, a lot of tight zone behind me, a lot of wide zone behind me. So I showcased everything.
So far, it's only been a day, but exposure to an NFL coaching staff, any light bulb moments that went off today that was like, oh, that's a cool way to do that? Think about it? No?
I'm just living the dream.
Same as?
Just only been playing 6 years. I'm just very blessed just to be here, to be thought of, to be invited to this game. It's just a blessing for me.
Looking back on, all your tape at NC State, you guys majored in zone, kind of an even split between wide zone.
Yeah, wide zone, tight zone, power and counter, and a handful of screens.
Did you guys have a mid zone? Because I know some coaches kind of different, like they kind of treat mid zone and tight zone as the same thing.
Every kind of tight zone was tight zone.
Yeah. Okay.
We didn't have mid zone.
It depends on every offensive lineman we ask that to has a different answer between how many different zones there are.
How they use their terms.
Yeah. Did you guys, when you get to the line of scrimmage, you see a certain front. And I know every offense is different. Did you guys ever kind of get to the line of scrimmage and say, we're not going to do wide zone against this. We're going to, we feel like we have a crease backside we can hit. Then you change it, or is it?
It just depends. So a lot of the schemes, like with Coach Garrison, he's a very good offensive line coach. When he takes the opportunity to where you can cut the defensive line in half, he's going to do it. So we land a lot of wide zone, but backside would be a lock scheme. So instead of the running back,
you didn't do a sift with a tight end. You just left that tackle there.
Yeah. So instead of running front side, it just hit between the guard and the center.
So you had to do a lot of one-on-ones that would normally be doubles. Then that's a lot harder.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot harder. So can you take us, for the audience that doesn't know, if you're, let's say if you have a tight, or no, I guess you'd be running it the other way. So if you're going against over front, and you got the nose, and then you're locking that backside tackle, are you doubling on the nose and then working to the mic, or is it just kind of first body you see?
It's first, and it depends on the spot. Because sometimes people will shift the linebackers over and bring the safety down, and we'll respot it.
Every time I ask an offensive lineman that question, it's always, it depends.
It depends on the spot.
You're reading it. Your
linebackers can be a base 20s or 30s at first. Then once they see the motions or whatever, they'll rotate down late, and we just have to adapt on that.
Do you feel like motion made your job easier or harder?
It didn't make it easier or harder. The job was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, no difficulty.
God, I love him. So the even keelness of like, I go out there, I do my job.
I do your job.
We kick ass. Like, that's the most offensive line thing I've ever heard.
You do your job, it'll make coach's job a lot easier.
Did you prefer wide zone or inside zone in terms of like, did it give you a chance to showcase a certain thing that you're better at?
No, because people see me as a mauler, and then they also love my feet. So we ran a lot of power behind me, a lot of tight zone behind me, a lot of wide zone behind me. So I showcased everything.
Best answer I could possibly ask for.
Yeah. You can do it all, but is there one you like better than another?
That's a good question. I think it depends on the front. Because you can have an on front, you can run wide zone, your guards are uncovered, climbing the linebacker is pretty quick. Then you have an even front, you're blocking the 3-tech, or you're helping the center on the backside A-gap.
Right.
So it depends on the front.
Yeah. I love the insight because for folks that don't appreciate line play, we enjoy it a lot. We spend a lot of time talking about it. For folks that don't appreciate line play, we talk about how difficult like a receiver's job is in a current offense that has a ton of option routes, right? Where everything is determined, again, depends on the coverage, depends on the leverage. If he does this, I do this. To see that same facet exists within offensive line play, even within similar systems or similar calls or whatever else, it depends, right?
Most of the time, you're spotting inside the box. But for sometimes counter plays, you're spotting outside the box. And sometimes you have to give the receiver notice that you're not blocking him, so you just give him a signal not to block him, so you're working out there. Yeah, there's a lot of complex when it comes to offensive line.
Yeah, and I love showcasing and putting a light on that complexity because there's so much of it there. There's so many decisions that have to be made, just like there are all over the field. And a lot of people think, oh, look, a big guy here and a big guy there, and it's one-on-one or one-on-two, and that's that. And it's not
that's
that.
Totally different.
Yeah.
You have a lot of combination blocks. Sometimes, most like pass protection, sometimes you have help.
We're working on them on the field today,
Yeah.
right? Peel blocks, right?
Yep.
Out, double to single,
Yes, sir.
right? And again, was there any different coaching point in the way that they were
No, it's
showcasing
kind
that to
of
you?
so. The Atlanta Falcons offensive line coach was at NC State for like I think it was
so
he
it's
was there
all
before.
same language, yeah.
So
He
you
was
already have
there
the
before
book.
I was there.
Yeah.
I was like a year late. They're not the same. It's different wording, but the scheme and the things, it's the same for me.
Head start, which is
Yeah.
nice.
And most of like I talked to the Giants. They're like wide zone. They like a mix of everything.
Yeah, with Dable, especially this year, and he put a lot of diversity in that run game, especially including the quarterback spot in a completely different way. But with Saquon and the line that Gettleman had put there, they had a lot of options to say we can attack this differently, and they used
A lot.
everything week
Yeah.
to week, and you would see it shift. One of the most fascinating run games in the NFL this season.
They
Yes,
would
sir.
do this thing where they would on outside zone they would do fold blocks just to give guys better angles. So instead of doing a double, they would just because they had a center that could do it. So like they would just fold the center and then like they had a cut block on the backside 3 and then just let the guard go, and they
So
just
they
let the
cut him in
guard
half.
yeah, and they just
Yeah.
let the guard get a 20-yard start on some poor safety down the field. I'm like, oh my god, that is
Yeah, they want to
diabolical.
cut him in half.
Yeah.
A lot of wide zones, they won't hit front side. They'll hit back
Mm-hmm.
side between the center and guard.
Now you mentioned, the read on, you say if you're uncovered and there's like a head up 5 and you're running outside zone. I'm curious how you and your tackle would run it if the defensive lineman was stringing it out and he was staying head up. Are you giving him a rib shot as you go to push
Yes.
him outside and
It's
then
a
getting up?
three-step decision. It's
Yeah.
either distort, knock his hip, climb, or overtake the block. So if his hip is still there, I'm just going to knock it and climb.
Yeah.
But if it's not and it's gone, just going to climb.
Is if he goes inside a little
I'm
bit,
overtaking.
you're over, and then you're letting the tackle.
Yes,
go.
sir.
So do you guys talk to each other in the middle of that, or are you just feeling it?
So we make the call, which is a double, front side. And once it happens, it happens.
You just
gotta
hoping
know
you're
it.
right.
You
Yeah.
gotta know
Oh, see, that's what I want people to understand is like the intricacies of line play are just as complicated as say a quarterback that's going down there and reading rotating safety.
Yeah, it's not just a guy just playing you head up and
No.
just going down the middle of you every time.
Because you guys are reading those safeties too. Because you got to see who's late in the fit and everything.
And D linemen are like ninjas now.
Oh my god.
So
Dude, I don't know. Did you go up against the Stephen F. Austin kid, B.J. Thompson, who's 6'5", runs like 4'5" and 40-inch vert and all
I don't
that?
think so.
Oh, you will.
Yeah, I will.
Oh, he is freaky, man.
Yeah.
He is freaky.
A lot of D linemen are freaky, especially in the league.
Well, and in your conference too.
Yeah, we had a lot
Who
of
was the toughest one you played against?
Rook.
Oh yeah,
D tackle.
I see. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I didn't get to go against Breezy
Yeah.
because his sister.
Was he
Yeah.
on the other side?
Yeah, I didn't get to go against Tyler Davis. He stayed on the other side too.
Oh, that's
I had Rook
unfortunate.
the whole game.
They were just they didn't want to
I had him
go
the whole
against
game
you,
last
man.
year too.
That doesn't feel fair in some ways. Like,
It's like
I had him all game last
give me the
year.
fight
Can
I
we
want,
rotate?
man. Give me the fight I
He's
want.
probably the strongest player I played against.
Breezy?
No, Rook.
Rook. Yeah.
Yeah.
That checks out on tape.
Yeah.
So, want to ask you a question I get all the time, and again, answers vary from offensive linemen. So, do you have a side you prefer? And no,
No, so I played right guard my freshman year at Fairmont. Sophomore year I played left guard. Junior year I played left guard and left tackle. I was a right tackle coming out of high school, just playing 1 year. I played center my freshman spring. So I haven't rep center in the game, but I pretty much played every position.
and that versatility will get you a long ways. There are very few guys in the NFL that can play all five. Elton Jenkins is one of the most common names that comes up when people are talking about 5-tool players on the offensive line. When you switch sides, even if it's just left guard to right guard, so same spot, not sliding out to tackle, working in more space, what's the biggest thing, or is it just not a thing for you?
It's not a thing. All you have to do is switch your footwork. There's
Okay,
nothing
and
else.
that's not a thing for you.
No.
Okay, because some people have a very different answer and say that there's a classic one. It's like trying to eat with the other hand is the one that's more polite, right? If you're right-handed, you always eat with your right hand.
Yeah.
Say try eating with your left hand. It's not that easy. And then other guys like you say it's not a big deal. You just rotate
Just
your
switch,
foot. And
yeah.
you're good.
That's like I played soccer, so
Oh, so yeah, it comes natural to him.
yeah. I played travel soccer and all that before I committed to playing football.
We were just talking about multi-sport athletes. BJ who we were referencing earlier from Stephen F. Austin, baseball player, basketball player, football player. A lot of skills that you're going to pick up from other sports.
Yes, sir.
Were you next to Icky last year?
Yeah. Big hit.
Okay.
Yeah, man.
I was like, I remember some crazy ass double teams, but I couldn't remember
Yeah,
if it was you.
we were crazy together.
The destruction, just the sheer movement that you guys would
Lost
get.
the first 5 games. The ball went behind us.
You notice guys stopped playing tight against you about 4 weeks into the year, right? Yeah. There's a reason for that.
Yeah.
They're like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, they just completely eliminated like half of the odd fronts that you
Yeah.
can possibly run because they're like, well, we're going to get down blocked to oblivion.
Yeah.
So we're not going to do that.
So we know about the guys that came before you. You know about the guys in this class. Who's next year's guy that's going to be sitting in that chair off your team?
Oh, man. I think there's 2
Okay.
from the offensive line perspective. You have Anthony Belton, 6'6", 338, can move like he's 220. And you have Dylan McMahon, who's very smart, can move, very strong in the lower half, power cleaning 405.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's yeah.
NC
He's a
State is a
freak.
type, man.
Yeah, they
Coach
do.
Thunder. Coach Thunder, man. This waiver program is crazy.
Every year Wolfpack's got dudes, man. Every
Yeah.
single year. The tradition there is
They have a very strong culture.
both offensive line and defensive
Yes.
line, to be honest. I can
Yeah,
only
BJ
imagine
Hill.
the practice.
You got Bradley Chubb. You got a few. They got a lot of D linemen. I think we have like 6.
Were you a freshman when Chubb was there?
So I wasn't at State yet.
Where
I
were
was
you?
at Division II. I was at Fairmont State.
Oh, and then okay. And how many years were you at Fairmont?
4.
And then you came up. Okay. Yeah, because that NC State D line had like
They all got drafted.
Yeah, it's like
First
4
4
NFL
rounds.
guys on it.
Yeah.
And then so that offensive line from NC State last year is probably going to be the same thing.
Yeah.
Because between you and then Icky in the center, like I mean that's an NFL offensive line just beating up
Yeah.
19-year-olds for fun.
Coach Thunder. I'm telling you, that waiver program is something different.
Do you watch Chris Lindstrom much at all?
Not really. I watched Roger Saffold for the left guard for
yeah.
the Bills and Quentin Nelson.
Oh yeah, Big
They
Q.
both can move and they're both maulers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you've taken from their game that?
Not really taken, but just watch how they do certain things
Mhm.
and just add it to my game.
Yeah, that Big Q jump set, man, works every time.
Yeah.
Not every time, but most.
If you can
times.
do it. Chano, thanks for taking the time with us. I think a lot of people who don't know your name at this point are going to know your name very soon, especially as we get through this draft process. People call that riser. I think it's just folks that haven't gotten there yet,
Yes, sir.
haven't seen the tape. Really excited to see where you land and how you do in the league.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
You have a good one.
You too.